Hello everyone. Today's Cretaceous profile remake we're going to be doing is Nanuqsaurus. Nanuqsaurus is a genus of tyrannosaurine theropod dinosaur known from the late Cretaceous period, Middle Maastrichtian age, in the Prince Creek Formation of the North Slope of Alaska, having lived roughly 70 to 68 million years ago. It contains a single species, known only from partial skull and multiple undescribed postcranial and teeth elements. Before the formal description of Nanuqsaurus, numerous tyrannosaurids' teeth are known from the Kokashiquak tongue of the Prince Creek Formation and were first referred to the genus Gorgosaurus. Later, after the local was understood to be younger than previously thought, the consensus switched to referring the teeth under the genus Albertosaurus. In 2006, within the North Slope Borak of Alaska, the fossilized remains of what appeared to be a medium-sized theropod were located at the Gigatikosi quarry of the Prince Creek Formation. The material was found to contain multiple fragments of the animal's skull, all of which were collected from the same area and found to most likely belong to a single individual. Among the disarticulation fragments preserved were a nasal branch of the right maxilla, a fragmentary skull roof, including pieces of both frontales, parietal, a piece of the right laterus sphenoid, and a fragment of the left dentary. These anatomical features were later used to determine the probable skull length of the animal, with estimates giving it a length of 600-700 millimeters, 24 and 28 inches. Radiometric dating of nearby rock suggests that the fossils were deposited roughly 68 to 70 million years ago. It wasn't until after preparations and analysis at the Perot Museum of Nature and Science, Dallas Museum of Natural History, when Alaskan Tyrannosaurid remains were finally recognized to represent a new taxon, as opposed to being synonymous with previous genus. This promoted the creation of a new genus, Nanuqsaurus. Its name means polar bear lizard. Described and named by Anthony R. Falorillo and Ronald S. Tolkowski in 2014, the initially discovered material referred to as DMNH 21461 is now recognized as the holotype of Nanuqsaurus, as well as this. The initial discoveries of teeth were placed as more likely to be the remains of Nanuqsaurus, as opposed to any other known creature Contrary to the initial proposal of the origin of the teeth, initially Nanuqsaurus was estimated to have been about 5 to 6 meters, 16 to 20 feet long, in metric, based on the holotype specimen, putting the animal at about half the length of T. rex. The length of the same specimen's reconstructed skull, based on proportions of the related animals, was 60 to 70 centimeters, 24 to 28 inches. Its weight was also estimated to be 500, 900 kilograms, 1,100 and 2,000 pounds. This definitive size was postulated by Fiorillo and Tarkowski as being an adaptation to high latitude habitat. However, later studies suggested that its supposed small size was unfounded and that it was likely similar in size to other North American tyrannosaurids such as Albertosaurus, based on undescribed adult-sized teeth and postcranial elements. Some of the undescribed postcranial elements scale to around 7 meters, 23 feet in length, described comparable to juvenile Tarbosaurus. Nanuqsaurus did indeed grow to similar length of as Albertosaurus as previously suggested, a total body length of anywhere between 8 to 9 meters, 26 to 30 feet is generally expected. Nanuqsaurus would have likely resembled other large tyrannosaurians, such as Daspletosaurus, with both animals belong closely related and probably serving similar roles in their respective ecosystem. Nanuqsaurus itself is atomically diagnosed by the following traits: a thin respiratory fork, Mandarin spur of the fused parietals on the dorsal skull roof that overlaps and separates from frontale within the sagittal crest. Frontale with a long rostrally pointed process separating the prefrontal and lacriminal facts. The first two dentary teeth are much smaller than the dentary teeth behind them. Analysis of material attributed to Nanuqsaurus and other Alaskan dinosaurs from the same environment has resulted in the Prince Creek Formation being recognized as having preserved an exponentially high percentages of developmentally young dinosaurs when compared to amount of families represented in the formation. Material from young dinosaur specimens, including birds, has been determined to be present from 7 different major clades. clades, or 70% of all the recognized families of the quarry. The families in question are Hadrosauridae, Thescelosauridae, Leptoceratopsidae, Ceratopsidae, Tyrannosauridae, Dromaeosauridae, Troodontae, and Avialine. This evidence suggests that both Nanuqsaurus and its likely prey items remain in the Paleoarctic year-long and would have had to cope with 120 days of constant weather darkness each year, as opposed to resorting to migration to escape the harsh conditions. It is proposed that the animals would likely have laid their eggs towards the beginning of the constant daylight period around the month of April, allowing time for the eggs to incubate in the relatively heat of this part of the year. Nanuqsaurus lived alongside many other dinosaurs during what is referred to as the Edmontorian faunal stage of the early late Maastrichtian, having resided at the estimate 80 degrees 85 degrees paleolatitude. The area Nanuqsaurus thrived in experienced climate extremes, unlike that experienced by the most other dinosaurs. The temperatures of this northern environment would have ranged from around 10 to 12 degrees Celsius during the warmer months and about 2 degrees Celsius plus 3.9 degrees Celsius during the colder months, as well as the environment would have been faced 120 days of continuous low light conditions during the winter, in contrast to the contemporary large herbivores like Edmontosaurus and Pachyrhinosaurus, which apparently preferred coastal lowlands and upper land environments, respectively. Nanuqsaurus appear to have been fairly ubiquitous throughout the Prince Creek landscape. Other animals that lived alongside Nanuqsaurus included undescribed animals like unnamed leptoceratopsids, the hadrosaur Edmontosaurus. Its previous name was Ulugrai, which is now synonymized. An unnamed Lambeosaurine and unnamed Thescelosaurine, mentioned to be similar to Parktosaurus and Thescelosaurus, and an unnamed Orodromine, mentioned to be similar to Orodromius. The ceratopsids like Pachyrhinosaurus pectorum and Alaskacephalae, and Alaskan Troodon, which is not have its official described name. Dromaeosaurus and Sornitholestes, along with an unnamed Celestine and an unnamed Ornithomimosaur, and multiple avians, as well as several mammals, including monotremes, eutherins, unnamed and named multituberculates, and marsupials. Interestingly, due to the colder conditions of this habitat, many otherwise was orthothermic clades lack representation entirely in the Prince Creek Formation, suggesting that all animals did thrived in these extreme latitudes were indeed endotherm to some degree. And that's it for Nanuqsaurus. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and see you later, guys.